The French Netflix action thriller Sentinelle has arrived. It's a quick watch, but is it worth it? Transferred home after a traumatizing combat mission, a trained French soldier uses her lethal skills to hunt down the man who hurt her sister. Olga Kurylenko plays Carla, and she's part of the Sentinelle. Now, they're elite soldiers that patrol different areas of the country. Sometimes it's counterterrorism, other times it's just helping to detain lawbreakers before police officers can arrive. Everything in this movie is rushed. The story begins with Carla in a war zone, and in a quick turn of events, we see what causes her to be traumatized. She plays the soldier with PTSD fairly well, but there's also not a lot of nuance that she brings to her character. She looks sad, she's a little weary of things, but the story doesn't really delve too deeply into her psyche other than to let us know that she's struggling, and then she turns to things to hide from her emotions. The story is basic, and I can almost get behind it. We have a person with a set of skills who works to save or avenge someone close to her that has been hurt by a nefarious villain. Sounds familiar, right? It's simple but believable, and depending on how it's executed, this can make for a fun movie. But that's where the problem lies. It's not executed well. The film rushes just about everything, like I said, and causes the entire production to feel very thin. Now, this is almost like Taken, without a lot of the emotion. And somehow that movie figured out how to pack in enough character development to make us care about the outcomes of those characters. In this, though, I didn't connect too well with the characters. I could feel for Carla, and I wanted to root for her, but I wasn't clear why I was rooting for her other than out of a sense of justice. I've got to hand it to the story at how they use some news reports to move the story along quickly. Sure, it's totally convenient that a person of interest would be featured on the news, and while it was airing, Carla would see it. But how else do you expect this film to stay under 90 minutes? We don't want to get too bogged down with story details or exposition. And we even get a villain monologue that explains what happened. It's just way too convenient. And as far as the action goes, there are some fun hand-to-hand battles. They're filmed so that we're right in the middle of the action, and there's one that I really wanted to go on longer because I was just getting into it, and it was getting pretty brutal with some improvised weapons and some good displays of strength, and then it's over. But not all of the action is great or even set up well. Clara is supposedly this highly trained soldier, right? But a guy she's got in a headlock with a knife to his throat is able to slip out easily. It's terribly convenient, but that happens so that she can then have a fight with a few other people. And I could have done without some of the slow-mo sequences. There was one at the beginning of the film that was a good effect, and the other times it was just unnecessary and it felt out of place. There's a lot of this that is predictable too. While not all of it bothered me, the most predictable portion was the ending. And that just felt cheap because of its obviousness. This doesn't offer anything new or even exciting. Sure, yeah, the fights are fun, but they're quick. And most of the time we watch Carla just walk around brooding. This is only 80 minutes, and they could have put in another 25 to 30 and really given us some depth that would make her brooding effective and impactful. That time also could have been spent building out the villains. They're ineffective, ill-defined, and really don't even provide a good sense of unease. They do a bad thing, but it feels more like happenstance than anything. So some of the action is fun and it's a very quick watch, but the story is lacking in tension and development. I think if you need to kill 80 minutes of your day, you can watch this, but there are certainly better things out there to spend your time viewing. There is sex, nudity, some profanity, and a lot of violence. I give Sentinelle 2 out of 5 couches. So what are you watching this weekend? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.